So it's Isekai time. Now I know a lot of you have seen many Isekai animes, but today's special. We're gonna talk about the top 10 new Isekai animes, which also include sequels which are gonna release this year, and I'm sure all of them have the capability to shoot the bullet of emotions into your heart. So stick with me till the end because it's gonna be an amazing journey, and yeah, before we start, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon to get notifications for all our new videos. Number 10. Rudeus Grey Rat from the anime Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Some of you may think this is cheating since the first season of Mushoku Tensei isn't even over, but then again, Studio Bind is clearly going all out for this adaptation with a stunning setting and visual storytelling. Rudeus started out in his new world as a magically adept child, but his character acting is already interesting thanks in part to the animators and character designers. The story, specifically the light novel, is considered a pioneering isekai title alongside Sword Art Online. It helped create the tone and tropes of the modern generic isekai shows, and many are eager to see how Rudeus grows in the long run, literally and figuratively.
Dungeon Master.
Number 9. Kage no Jitsuryokusha ni Narita Kude. Genres: action, comedy, fantasy. For as long as he can remember, Minoru Kageno has been fixated on becoming as strong as possible, which has led him to undertake all kinds of rigorous training. This wish, however, does not stem from a desire to be recognized by others. Rather, Minoru does everything he can to blend in with the crowd. So, while pretending to be a completely average student during the day, he arms himself with a crowbar and ruthlessly thrashes local biker gangs at night. Yet, when Minoru finds himself in a truck accident, his ambitions seemingly come to a sudden end. In his final moments, he laments his powerlessness. No matter how much he trained, there was nothing he could do to overcome his human limitations. But instead of dying, Minoru reawakens as Sid, the second child of the noble Kageno family in another world, one where magic is commonplace. With the power he so desired finally within his grasp, he dons the moniker Shadow and establishes Shadow Garden, a group whose sole purpose is to combat the enigmatic cult of Diablos, an organization born from Sid's imagination. However, as Shadow Garden grows in both membership and influence, it becomes increasingly apparent that the cult of Diablos is not as fictional as Sid had intended. Number 8. Shangri-La Frontier, Kusuge Hunter Kamige ni Irumen Tuso. Second-year high school student Rakuro Hizatome is interested in one thing only: finding shitty games and beating the crap out of them. His gaming skills are second to none, and no game is too bad for him to enjoy. So, when he's introduced to the new VR game Shangri-La Frontier, he does what he does best: min-maxes and skips the prologue to jump straight into the action. But can even an expert gamer like Rakuro discover all of the secrets that Shangri-La Frontier hides? Number 7. Aiwo Bu o Kiwomeru Tame Tenseisu, Soshite Seikei Saikyu Minarai Kishi. From his deathbed, Hero King Inglis, the divine knight and master of all he surveys, gazes down on the empire he built with his mighty hand. Having devoted his life to statecraft and his subjects' well-being, his one unfulfilled wish is to live again, for himself this time. Number 6. No Game, No Life, released in 2014. Sora and Shiru are two otaku siblings who play online games all day. Going by the username Blank, the two shut-ins have acquired a legendary status in the gaming world. Even the world's most renowned gamers now fear playing against their expertise in almost every game. But after receiving a strange email, the two of them are thrown into a distant world where they meet Yet, the god of games. The god of games now expects them to unite all the races of the world and then ultimately face him in a match of chess. In Isekai wa Smartphone to Tomo ni, as the name suggests, the protagonist carries his cell phone with him in the new world he gets summoned to. Similarly, in No Game No Life, the two siblings not only carry their phones, but also carry other technological equipment that could help them. The implication of modern conveniences have been emphasized in both of the shows. Number 5. Sword Art Online, released in 2012 and still going. One of the best anime shows in the isekai genre, Sword Art Online is the first anime that popularized the concept of gaming anime. Since its release, many shows have tried to recreate it, but have not been able to reach its high standards. Set in the near future, it revolves around a young gamer named Kirito. He is one of the 10,000 lucky kids who will get to experience virtual gaming of the future. Unfortunately, after entering the gaming world through devices known as nerve gear, the kids find out that they're stuck in there, and if they ever want to get out, they will have to learn to survive. Unlike in Another World with My Smartphone, the characters of Sword Art Online are not physically present in their new world. But dying is a real threat in both shows, and every wrong step that a character takes can have some very negative consequences. Also, the main protagonists of both shows act as leaders in their new world, and boldly take on every responsibility that is laid on them. SOA also has some occasional ecchi, which plays a major role in lightening its tone from time to time. Number 4. Kazuto Kirigaya, from the anime Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online is undoubtedly the most popular isekai series in anime history, and it's far from over with the much-awaited progressive adaptation. I'm sure that Kazuto, or Kirito, has his fair share of detractors, but his long journey has had more than a few considerably epic moments, especially in Ordinal Scale and the Alicization arc. Plus, I can't deny that the power fantasy and harem he provides is still enough to get my attention, even if they've already been overused in isekai anime at this point. Number 3. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, released in 2018 and still going. Satoru Mikami is a middle-aged man who does not really hate his monotonous life, but is not too content with it either. But everything changes when he gets stabbed by an assailant on the street one day. Before dying, he starts hearing strange voices, and as soon as he opens his eyes, he realizes that he's in a strange new world with the physical appearance of slime. He then comes to know that he also possesses the ability to mimic the appearance of anything just by devouring it. With a new sense of purpose now, he uses these powers to bring some changes in this new world and decides to leave his old boring life behind. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is another popular isekai title. Like in Another World with My Smartphone, even this one has more of a comic tone, and it features a unique protagonist who is driven by his strong sense of purpose. Both the protagonists actually feel good after escaping into their new worlds and don't even think about looking back. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is another fantasy comedy that has been overly hyped but is still quite entertaining. Number 2. Shinichi Kano, from the anime Outbreak Company. Outbreak Company feels like an underrated show that needs more views and adoration. But that's far from the truth, because this series still gets into anime discussions online every now and then. What's so great about this parody series from 2013 anyways? Well, Shinichi Kano is a splendid dude. His crush rejecting him because he was an otaku led him to the path of the hikikomori, but then he decided to get a job meant for otaku. He becomes the government's promoter of otaku culture in the Eldent Empire, and the show hits out of the park with its references. And I do ship Shinichi and the half-elf maid Musil. Number 1. Haruhiro, from the anime Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions. To this day, Grimgar remains to be one of the most refreshing isekai and fantasy series in anime history. The first episode alone grabbed my attention with its nuanced take on monster killing and newbie party dynamics. Haruhiro wasn't meant to lead the squad in the first place. He was just an anxious thief class member who did his best to cheer up his pals. But something happens in the series and he's thrown into the role of leader. Haruhiro stumbles in his new position and often contends with himself, questioning his value when his pals are getting invited to other parties. Yet he improves bit by bit and I can't help but root